especially with AI lately. That's been one of the things I've been really fascinated with. People don't exactly know how it'll work or how it'll always work all the time, but it is a very useful tool. And it's almost a disservice to yourself and to your client and to your case if you don't use a tool like that in some degree.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Bar podcast. I'm your host, Denisa Tova. And today's guest brings, I'd have to say, a rare combo to the table. He's sharp legal skills, background in forensic accounting, and a deep community leadership. Byron Chou is an associate at Gassman Biomontic Lunar, where he handles high net worth family law cases with precision, care. He's deeply involved in a community. I know that for a fact. He's a rising star. He's a board member of the Nassau County Bar Association and a vice chair of the Asian American Attorney Section, where he's helping lead some incredible upcoming events. But there's so much more to him, and we know each other a little bit, but I cannot wait to dive in and find out his story. Byron, welcome to the show.
Hi, Denisa. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be part of this.
So, I've been meaning to ask that for quite some time, and we ran into each other at various events and just had a little conversation. But I'm curious, what is your story? Let take me to the beginning. How did you end up here?
Okay. How far back are we going?
As far back as
No.
you feel comfortable.
I'll start with, I guess, from college, but I graduated with a degree in business. And while I was at Carnegie Mellon University for my undergrad, I interned at Klein Lehman & Gresson, what is now KLG Business Valuators. I was doing a degree in business at the time and enjoyed immensely my summer internship at KLG. So once I graduated, I started at KLG full time. So I came back from Pittsburgh and I started in their Syosset office, and I did that for about 8 years. Now we did forensic accounting mostly for divorces, in terms of valuing assets, doing tracings, and helping attorneys and judges try to get an understanding of the breadth of litigants' assets for their divorces. So that was a great experience. And while I was there, we worked with a lot of attorneys, and I would meet with them. And the reality was, at the time, I just had an undergrad degree, and the partners all had CPA licenses and certifications, CFAs, ABVs, and so 4 years into working at KLG, I was thinking, well, now I have to consider what my future will be. Do I stay here? Then I need to get licensing. Like, what's my plan? And we had been meeting with attorneys so much by then. I was like, you know what? Maybe I could just do the legal side, because now I have this experience and this understanding, and I'll just handle the legal side. I find that really fascinating. And quite frankly, I was meeting some fabulous attorneys, geniuses, really. But then I was also meeting a lot of people that I was like, I can't believe they're an attorney. And they don't even know what's going on with finances, anything. So I was like, this I can handle. So 4 years into working at KLG, I applied for an evening program. I applied to a bunch of law schools, but my plan was always, I'll do something part-time, either in the evening or whatever, so that I can keep working. I had a mortgage at the time, so that was like the biggest concern. And so I eventually got into St. John's, and I did their evening program, which instead of being 3 years, it's a 4-year program, and it's all at night. Did that, and so I would go to KLG from morning till evening, drive to St. John's, and we would have class from like 6:30 to 10:45 at night. It was nuts. Wow. And so after I was done with that, after I graduated, I was looking for jobs. Actually, before I graduated, around that time, I was looking for jobs. And what, this was just like the craziest happenstance. But Dave Gresson, my old, the old partner at KLG, he happened to be at the bar association one day, bumped into Mr. Gasson, and Steve was saying, I need someone. We had just had an attorney leave. This is perfect. You have someone that, that's going to be an attorney, and they have that skill set in valuing high net worth, assets and dealing with high net worth individuals. So it was like so seamless. I quit KLG like a few months. When did I quit? I quit like right before I graduated, I think. And then because I had to start studying for the bar exam. And then once I finished with the bar exam, I started at Gassman by Monte Gruner, and I've been there ever since. So, and what I do, as you had mentioned previously, was we handle high net worth individuals in terms of their divorces, matrimonial issues, and as well as family law issues, prenups, postnups, and everything. So I've been doing that now for about a little over 8 years, and that's where I am.
Wow, that's where you are. There's a lot in there. So taking it a little further back, let's say to, I don't know, middle school, high school, what were you into then? What were you like?
It's funny. Music was like my biggest thing. I was really into. I played violin from second grade all the way to 12th grade. That was like my big thing. So I was involved in the orchestra. I did like the music honor societies, and in high school I continued that. I picked up viola also. I got into all state, all eastern on that. So music really was my big thing. I don't know, cooking. I was big into cooking. Um, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I know still. But I, you know, yeah, I mean, music was the thing. I was big into the arts, and then going to high school, graduating, I was like, what can I do? And so I figured, well, business is something I can certainly handle. I took a lot of business courses in my high school at the time through CW Post. I did business law, sports marketing, like a lot of business related type courses. And so, you know what, that's for me. And so that's why I went to college for that at the end.
That sounds like an interesting combo as you were into art, music, cooking, and then you get into something that many would consider dry. It almost sounds like you were looking for that practical, so to take some practical course and kind of figure out later what you do with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
I grew up with immigrant Chinese parents from Taiwan, and they're realistic, and they set certain expectations. And I know that the one thing I did really want to do, like in high school, I mentioned to my mom, was I want to be a pilot. Like I would love to go to aviation school. I want to see the world. I want to travel. And she was like, no, absolutely not. I will not pay for aviation school. In farming, I was like, it's so cheap too compared to like these undergrads. And essentially, and I think a lot of cultures have this mentality. Education is super important, and it was super important to my parents, especially my mom. And she was a CPA. My dad owned a business, and it was always like, look, yeah, you go to school, you get a good education, you got to make yourself productive. I wasn't entirely sure, so I kind of had to figure it out. But I knew about accounting, obviously, and medicine. I knew I definitely couldn't do that. Computer science, I know that's big, and when I was in undergrad, and still is, it's like these aren't for me. So, but law, finance, that I could handle. So that worked out well.
If you were to change a law and forget about it, so let's just say sky's the limit in your field, right? In the matrimonial divorce field, what would that be and why, you think, or part of it?
If I were to change a law in the mat field, let me think. I would say that, hmm, I don't know. I think the law, no, I don't know at this point exactly. Um, yeah, I can't think of any at this point.
Yeah, it's it's an interesting
Yeah,
question
that is a good
actually,
question.
because
What would I change?
when I do ask that question, and even someone who's been practicing for decades, they sort of pause and think about it. And it's not so much about taking a statute and taking it apart. It's about the process
Mhm,
and how the world is changing with the speed of the tech developments, AI, and then we have this post-COVID world where we sort of become, it's like a one, essentially like there are no borders, one geography, and many of us connect by virtually by Zoom. It's really, I think the rate at sort of adoption, how fast we're adopting to new and significant changes has been,
mhm,
accelerating in the social media. And so I'm just wondering, that some industries will have to revamp themselves, to kind of to get ready for this new environment. And so
mhm,
maybe part of it, I'm wondering, do you see many of your clients requesting virtual meetings? Are you do you see a sort of an aftermath of that and how that's impacting, what you do?
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now we always give the option of doing a call or Teams or Zoom or in person. And I would say half the time people are saying, I'll just do something via Teams rather than coming in person. And it really does, uh, makes things more convenient for everyone. And it really is good. I think because of COVID, this has forced that change, and now people have gotten used to or adopted the change, and it's great. Now, in terms of technology, because we're going down that route, I do agree that things have changed a lot, and especially with AI lately, that's been one of the things I've been really fascinated with. Uh, since once ChatGPT came out and OpenAI had this big thing about it, and now with all the different, like Lexus has their own program, Protege, and Westlaw has their own thing, and all these different companies are coming out with these tools now. I find, that's one of the things I feel is, as an attorney, this is new, right? It's untested. People don't exactly know how it'll work or how it'll always like work all the time, but it is a very useful tool. And so, like for LexisNexis Protege, it's an unbelievable tool. And at this point, if you're an attorney and you have LexisNexis or Westlaw, like it's almost a disservice to yourself and to your client and to your case if you don't use a tool like that in some degree, right? I'm not saying that you use it necessarily to draft every single motion. And certainly it's not, I don't think it's at that point really, because I've used it in different ways and I don't think it's necessarily the best at that yet. But there's a lot of ways to use this technology to your client's benefit, right? You are saving time because it can help draft a really great framework of a letter. Obviously, not going to use that letter word for word. You use it as a framework. It helps put my ideas together. You save your client's time, and you also reduce the amount of searching time for cases. Motion drafting time does get reduced to a certain extent, but still I don't think AI is so perfect for motion drafting just yet. But there's a lot of tools that like EBT summaries, deposition transcript summaries, unbelievable. So yeah, technology, I think, is something that in the field that we do, I think people tend to be averse to it, right? I think the
Yeah.
courts were very slow to adopt even like electronic evidence, e-filing. And so COVID really set that up. And now we have all these additional tools and then the technology with the AI, it's unbelievable. And it's great. So I've done a bunch of CLEs on AI, its intersection with matrimonial law, with law in general, ethical concerns, obviously. And, that's one of my passions. Um,
We share that. We share
yeah.
that passion. I spend probably 2 hours every very early morning when the rest of the world is sleeping. And not just that you can really get overwhelmed and you can get addicted, and because there's a tool that comes out every single day, right?
Mhm.
But it's about staying grounded, in my view, and seeing how can it enhance me in personal or business life, and or my team, or people around us, rather than replace. What can you do better, right?
Mhm.
And I like what you're saying is use it sensibly. It is a tool, and be foolish enough not to take
Mhm.
advantage of that. But there's certain boundaries, but it's definitely changing
Yeah.
things at a lightning speed.
Right.
What it's just it's really fascinating. You have so many varied interests. How do you keep that artistic side, um, and the passion for music? How do you keep it alive? Like
Mhm.
stepping outside of work. What
Mhm.
what do you enjoy doing?
So, yeah, I mean, especially in this field, every day there's just a lot of emotion and it can be draining. You're listening to fighting, arguments. A lot of the times it's unreasonable people on one side, both sides. Could be your own client, it could be the other attorney. So it is important to stay grounded. And I think doing and what I do on my free time is I try to find like artistic endeavors or things that I just find I can learn, like learning new things. I find that exciting too. So what I still do a lot of cooking. That's one of my favorite things to do. And in terms of music, that kind of, weaned off as after I graduated high school. I stopped playing, but then this year actually, for the first time in 20 years since high school graduation, one of my friends got married, and she was like, "Oh, do you mind playing for us at our wedding, like at the
Yeah.
ceremony part of it?" I was like, "I haven't played in forever," um, but she kept pushing. So I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then I had a friend play the cello with me. And so it turned out to be wonderful. Like I haven't done that in so long. It's just nice to have that, um, you know, time to just be creative, make music, and just spend time with someone else. That it was actually the friend that that played the cello. I haven't, I didn't know that well, but this was like a really great way for us to get, know each other even more. Um, and a great excuse. We practiced like every other weekend, and then we did the wedding at Del Vino Vineyards over in Northport. So that was a really great experience. Um, the other thing I do to maintain work-life balance is I tend not to give my cell phone out to clients, and I know that attorneys have different takes on that. Okay. Um, I, I never gave out before COVID. I never gave out my cell phone number. Then COVID happened, and of course, again with like Teams and e-filing and all that kind of stuff. This was another thing because people had to reach you when we were home instead of
Yeah.
at the office. So, but I do pick and choose which clients I will ultimately give my number to. And it's usually after some time that we've built this rapport and I know that this person is not going to infringe on me or my time out of the office. Um, so yes, I do pick and choose, and I won't generally not give it out. And I think that's one of the ways I really tried to just separate that, because you don't want to take this stuff home. A lot of the times it's very, very, heart wrenching. It's upsetting. It's sad, especially when there's children involved.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the other part that people don't realize is there's so many things that you do and handle have nothing to do with division of assets, and you're not robots.
Mm-hmm.
I have interviewed great folks from your own firm, from many other firms, and really trying to portray to the outside world that you're not disposable. You are human beings with
Mm-hmm.
families and emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and do the best you can. But there's just a breadth of so much to address in every case. And yeah, and dealing with children, as much as you try not to take it in, you just it's impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I think like as family law, matrimonial law practitioners, what could be more important than teaching clients or demonstrating to clients that family should be a priority, right? Yes, work is absolutely important. You need to make money, but how you deal with and prioritize your family is a priority and should be a priority. And as practitioners in this field, I think it's part of our jobs to help people and demonstrate to people that this is healthy, necessary, and everyone really should engage in it to a certain extent, um, to what they feel is appropriate, you know.
and then and then also, recharging your emotional tank. I know you're deeply involved in a community. Tell me about some of your involvements, like with the Nassau County Bar Association, and what do you have coming up?
Okay. Yeah, the Bar Association is probably my biggest passion outside, work law related passion. Um, I've been involved with it since practically day one that I've been here at my firm because Steve, Rosalia, Josh, they've all, Steve and Rosalia were past presidents of the Bar Association. Our firm is very heavily involved with the Bar Association of Nassau County. So it was well, at first it was kind of, you just got to go to these things. But over
Yeah.
time, what I've realized is that, you really do just meet a bunch of wonderful people. I met you, well, we met right around the time I was leaving KLG, right? I think that was when
Right.
you were kind of getting,
Yep.
involved with the firm and, um, so I never really got to engage with you as much, but once, I think through the Bar Association, we have been much
Yep.
more able to, I see you at the meetings, at the New York State Bar meetings. So I think that really was a great way for us to develop our relationship. And that is one of the things I found was great about the Bar Association, just using that to help develop myself as an attorney, to develop just personal and professional relationships. So what I've been doing, I've been chair of a few committees. I've been chair of the New Lawyers Committee, the LGBTQ Committee, and as of this year, I'm the vice chair of the Asian American Attorney section. And the goal of that section really is to, now that Nassau has such a boom in the Asian population, especially the Chinese, in Roslyn, Manhasset, Syosset, Plainview, Jericho, it's unbelievable. So as at the bar, we felt that it was necessary for us to expand our reach and just try and bring in different, attorneys of different racial makeup, because look, the Bar Association tends to have like a certain type of person,
Yeah.
at least when I first was there. Now it's,
Totally.
much different, but it was a way to try and bring in different people, thoughts. And what we did at the bar, with the Asian American Attorney section, is not just do CLEs and events for the attorneys at the Bar Association. Our goal is to get out into the neighborhood and meet the people. So one of the first things that we've done is we hosted the Lunar New Year event, and it was open not just to lawyers, it was open to anyone in the community. We brought in dancers and, musicians from different, and also, yeah, dancers, musicians, and other like martial artists to come and do performances. We had a lovely buffet dinner and then performances. And it was an amazing experience, and it's an annual event now. Um, in October, on October 24th, so in like a month and a half now, we are also hosting our first Diwali celebration. So again, that's our way of getting, we get dancers and entertainment from the area. It's usually like children or adults that are at like, community organizations or cultural organizations, and they come, we have them perform, they're part of the whole event, and it's really a great experience. So that's, and then we started a mahjong class that's starting in early October
Really?
at the Bar Association. And again, it's open to everyone. And it's just to, I think getting people in the door, just getting people to experience new things, I think as a millennial is always something I love, right? New experiences. So that's been the goal at the bar, especially with the Asian American attorney section. Now, what else do I do? I also, I am involved with the another bar association, the American Teddy Roosevelt American Inns of Court. I'm on the board there too, and it's similar to the Bar Association. But the other one that I do find to be an important aspect as something I'm passionate about being part of also is the Asian American Advisory Council to the Nassau County DA. Now, it's not just a great opportunity to just speak with the DA to get an understanding of what's going on in Nassau County with regards to crime, but it's also a way for me as an attorney and as a member of the Chinese, Taiwanese community and the Asian community to have that connection with, the law, the DA and the people that keep this resident safe and the residents of Nassau County. So I think just being part of that has really helped me be able to just meet a lot of different people from Nassau County to see what we can do to, after COVID, there was a lot of Asian hate crimes that were going on. So this was, letting people know, look, come forward with this. You're not alone. This county is here to help you. We're here to help you and support you. These are things that, I think a lot of people don't know about and are afraid to use, especially, I think, people in the Asian community. You're kind of told, like, growing up, you're like, don't make waves, right? So they tend not to report these hate crimes that are racially based. But this is a way to help me understand what's going on with the community and also connect with them. Yeah.
Wow. This is I remember when I interviewed Steve Gassman and asked him what advice he would give to incoming attorneys, and it was about asking for help, showing up, and getting mentored. And I think you really are the byproduct of that culture, is to bring in sort of your own flavor and curiosity, but also just an overall wonderful, wonderful message for those who are trying to come in and sort of make your own mark. Is you bring in yourself into it, and that's far beyond what you do on a daily basis, which is already so profound and important. But that is amazing, absolutely amazing, and you sound so passionate about it. So that's really, I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
What's one of the favorite things you like to cook?
What do I like to cook? I'm a millennial, so I am always on social media, and I get like a lot of my Instagram page is literally just like recipes, like different like food recipes that people are, and like squirrels, because we rescued a squirrel last year, and so now my entire algorithm is just rescued squirrel stuff. But yeah,
Recipes and squirrels.
what do I cook? I mean, I'll cook anything. I think I have a pretty wide breadth. Like I cook primarily like Chinese, Japanese style, and then Italian. Like those are my two favorite styles to cook. But I can do like Greek. We'll do Greek. We do Korean barbecue. We just did Korean barbecue last Friday at the house. We have like a grill. We buy all the ingredients. It's really easy to prep. And what else? Pretty much anything. I mean, this summer, the newest thing that we've been obsessed with is making peach sherbet. It's unbelievably easy.
Ooh.
And it's not really cooking, but we went to the peach farm and bought, we picked like, I don't even know, too many peaches to eat before they went bad. So I was like, what can we do? And so we froze it, you blend it, you just mix it with like a little, condensed milk, and then you refreeze it again. Delicious. Just a little milk to make it like a little sweeter,
Creamy.
but not, and creamy, and not too many calories and not too much sugar. So it's good. It was really good.
Wow. I thought you were going to say a few drops of alcohol. I've never thought
That
actually
would be a good
condensed,
idea. That's my next one.
just to sprinkle it
Need a
in there.
Bernina, yeah.
Ooh, condensed milk. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I grew up on that actually back in Eastern
Uh,
Europe.
oh
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah.
What do you use it in primarily?
Well, not anymore. That
Okay.
was, I mean, before I'm a first generation
Mhm.
immigrant. I came here from the former Czech Republic when I was
Okay.
15, but a lot of baking with it. And then
Okay.
also I remember my mom making eggnog with it.
Ooh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like a year end. But
Okay.
or just, oh, this probably sounds gross, but just like open up the can and just take a couple of spoons,
No,
just
that's not gross. That's delicious.
right?
But yeah, condensed milk is huge in Asia, in Taiwan too. Like they use it in everything and in coffee. I like it in like hot chocolate,
Yes.
but it's just a little, it's like, I try not to do it too much now because it is a lot of sugar. But
Yeah. Oh,
delicious.
and not jumping from condensed milk to squirrels, which is funny. But yes, we did have that conversation. It was fascinating. And this is a funny thing. So I had actor Eric Roberts and his wife Eliza on the show,
Mm.
and this was like last year. And it turns out that they have squirrel farm in
Oh
their
my God.
backyard.
Oh my God.
And he's talking about, little fat squirrels, but it was just such a like passion. I mean, they love their squirrels. So then when you and I had that conversation, you rescued one, right?
Yeah, we found it in the park on the sidewalk.
Now, do you still tell me the rest of the story? Whatever happened to it?
Well, so they're wild animals at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
what you do, you're really supposed to just find a rehabber. But again, I just like to try this. I was like, this thing is like so helpless. It's bleeding. Like, what do we do? We tried the first night. We got it home. We like researched like, what do you do with it? And then they gave advice on how to feed it, and keep it warm. And so we were like, okay, tomorrow if it makes it, because we think it fell out of a tree. If it makes
Well,
it, we will we'll find a rehabber. But then ultimately we were like, you know what, I think we can handle this. We'll try it. So we had the squirrel for about 4 months. And once it reaches that around that age, they're pretty much ready to be rewilded. So what we did was like about a month before we were planning to release him, we started letting him go outside for a few hours every day, and then he would come back. Like he would go out and hang out in the backyard and then come back in. And ultimately, he just one day when we let him out, he was just ready. You could tell
mm,
that he was ready. And so now he just lives outside. We do have like a little setup with like a few bowls where we put out some snacks for him and his old like wooden house that was in his cage in case he wants
mm.
to visit. But they do fine. Apparently, their instincts just take over and they are able to handle it just fine. But it was a fun, interesting, different. I was not expecting to be dealing with that in 2024. And then
Wow.
and crazy. Let me tell you, the thing is crazy. once they, once they can start running around, they're nuts. So
Yeah,
we were ready to just let him be the wild animal
literally.
he was. Yeah,
Did you give it a name?
Sandy, like little
Sandy.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he comes by. We see him almost every day. He just comes by, picks up his nuts, and then leaves.
Exercise techniques. Oh my gosh, Byron, we could talk forever
Yeah.
now.
It's just like I think it's being open to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what defines my mentality, right? Just being open to new experiences.
Yeah.
I think like that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man, right?
Yes.
Saying yes, I think really does open doors. And even if it's not something you ultimately enjoy to do, right? At least you've experienced it, you understand it, you know whether or not you like it. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And I think that is what really enriches your life, and just puts you outside of your box and opens new doors.
You said it. You've summarized it so well, and actually that's a great way to transition is to that's such a perfect message, and you're living it. You're not just talking about it. And It was such a it's a beautiful ending. I'm sure we'll have you back here. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for sharing yourself with us
Thank
today. Thank you.
No, it was really enjoyable. Thank you for having me and look forward to, more of these.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Bar podcast. And to find out more how to get a hold of Byron Chou, you will be able to check out his bio link below our show notes. Make sure that you follow us on all social media channels. And until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.